Hello, 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 and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle. I'm your host, Leslie Klein, and I'm here to help you raise your vibration so you can thrive. So, this week, we are stepping into a very magical and meaningful time with Mother's Day this Sunday, a day to honor the divine feminine and nurturing love and unconditional love. And on Monday, we've got a full moon, a transformative full moon in the sign of Scorpio. The energy is potent for deep healing and powerful shifts. So, in today's episode, we are going to explore how you can harness this cosmic energy. So, take a deep breath and raise your vibration, settle in, and let's raise our vibration together. So, the first thing that I've got to share with you is some astrological news. What's going on with the planets, with the moon, with the sun, and how all of these different objects in the sky, these cosmic beings going around our planet and our universe, how these affect us. Well, we're in the waxing phase of the moon, which means the moon is getting bigger and bigger until we get to the full moon, which will be on May 12th. And the sun, it's in the sign of Scorpio. Now, this is also known as a flower moon. The Native Americans like to have a name for each of the moons of each of the different months. So this is the time of the year where the flowers are blooming. And so they call this the flower moon. Of course, the moon, when it's full, it's like blossoming, right? And this is also, a lot of times I talk about it being a supermoon. Well, this is actually a micromoon. And what that means is that the moon is from its farthest point from the Earth, right? So it's going to look a little bit smaller and a little bit dimmer than a typical full moon because it's further away, micromoon, as opposed to supermoon when it's closer and it has a little bit more of an impact physically and energetically. So the sign of Scorpio has to do with emotional introspection, transformation, and the unveiling of hidden truths. So Scorpio is a sign of secrets, right? Of investigation and uncovering things, uncovering the truth. So this particular lunation is one that encourages us to confront our inner shadows, to release what no longer serves us, and to embrace personal growth. So this is coming up on Monday. So this is a great time to do some journaling, do some meditations. I love to look for full moon meditations, guided ones, and just do a search on YouTube. You'll find different ones. The one that you resonate with, take that one and use it during the full moon period. And if you can't wait till Monday, the full moon always has 2 to 3 days before and after that you're still within that energy. So we're just starting to feel that powerful full moon in Scorpio. And I'm a Scorpio, so I'm very familiar and I guess excited about this energy because it's very, natural for me being a Scorpio myself, a sun sign at least. So yeah, that's what's happening this weekend coming up. And so you may be feeling this. If you're watching and you're feeling the energy of the full moon at this point, let me know in the comments. You can comment anytime during the show, and I can see your comments and share those with you. So let's move from what's going on in the cosmos. There's other astrological things happening with Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius, but I think it's retrograde right now, and there's something going on with Uranus. But again, I am not an astrologer, so I would recommend. I love Tanya Gabrielle. She does a great interpretation of the full moon, and just check it out on YouTube. Tanya Gabrielle. All right, so let's now move into UFO and UAP disclosure. I've been working with the Citizens for Disclosure of the New Paradigm Institute. And so I've been having this UFO segment in this show for a while now because there have been things happening. And the biggest thing that's going on right now is that there's this task force for the declassification of government secrets that Representative Anna Paulina Luna right? And she's from the St. Pete area, which is, Florida, close to home. And she's heading up this task force along with, I believe it's Robert Garcia, that representative. So there's been a lot of stuff happening this last week. And one of the biggest things that's happened is there's an astrophysicist called Eric Davis, Eric Davis, and he spoke at this on May 1st. There was a UAP briefing. It was called Understanding UAP, Science, National Security, and Innovation. And this was part of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. And this Dr. Eric Davis was asked the question about what species he's found in these crafts that they have downed. The big secret, if you don't know, is that the government has, over the years since even before Roswell, have encountered craft, have downed these craft or retrieved these craft. They've re-engineered or reverse engineered the technology and created man-made UFO looking craft. And so a lot, and what Dr. Stephen Greer says, a lot of the UFOs that people see, 70 to 80% of them are actually man-made. And he also claims that most of the people who have been abducted actually were abducted by these special access programs, these man-made UFOs, these, black operations happening kind of actually outside of the control of our government. And that's the whole big thing, is that the government works for us. So these special access black operation programs are unconstitutional. And so that's what the big push is behind the Citizens for Disclosure. The New Paradigm Institute is to pressure Congress to take back the reins of power, right? And because they're the ones who appropriate, who give out the money to fund these programs. So they're responsible and, want accountability with what's going on with these funds. And if this is something that's unconstitutional, we'll stop it. The big thing is the technology. There's this alien or ET technology. All of these space defense companies and stuff want to have proprietary advantage of, they want these all this, and this technology belongs to the people, 0 point energy, things like that. So this is why there's this big power struggle, because the ones in power, the 1%, the ones with the money, the transnational organization that is apparently behind all of this, black operations, alien technology, etc. They're doing what they do to keep control over the situation, but the people want our power back. And so we're kind of at a time, I see, is kind of like the second American Revolution in a way. So anyway, this Eric Davis was asked about these species. So the news of this astrophysicist scientist saying that these creatures, these species exist in a government, in this specific hearing, is mind-blowing. So I did take this clip from Eric Davis, and I'm going to share it with you now. Here it is.
Do you have, or can you comment on whatever species have been that have been piloting these craft? How are they large? Are they multiple species? What was their size, and how many are usually on a craft?
They're typically the multiple species. People are familiar with the Greys, the Nordics. People have talked about reptilians and insectoids. It's not that they're reptilian or insectoid, it's that they resemble to the percipient, a reptile or an insect type humanoid, because they have a head and forelimbs and torso. So
large, small,
human size, human scale.
And are there how many are a crew?
Well, the Greys I'm familiar with from investigating the crash at Corona, which is misnamed the crash of Roswell. It's not the crash of Roswell, it's the crash of Corona in Mexico. Those were Greys, those are 4 foot tall. And the Nordics are typically human size, probably, I've heard 5, 6 feet tall. And same with the people who mislabel reptilian and insectoid, they're roughly that top height too. I haven't heard anything about anything 7 or 8 feet or 9 feet tall.
Interesting.
Of that nature.
So,
So what did you think about that? That was pretty mind-blowing that he admitted that there are several different species. He talked about the grays. He talked about the ones that are insectoids. They're humanoids, but they look like insects. They're also called the mantids, or like mantis, the praying mantis type insects. And he talked about the Nordics that look like people from the Norse area, blonde, blue eyes. And which one other ones did he talk about? The grays. I don't think he talked about plasmoid ones, but mind blowing, huh? So here we have it, testimony right there that ETs are real, that there are several different species. The government has known about this for years. So this is one of the reasons we're demanding, disclosure, right? We need to know about this. We deserve to know about this. And if you want to actually see the whole um, uh, briefing. It was about, I want to say over 3 hours long. Go to tinyurl.com/capital GVTV, Understanding UAP. And this will give you the whole episode. So another thing that's coming up with disclosure is that there have been several episodes, several podcasts and videos that have come out, and there was a UFO whistleblower that went public about the Immaculate Constellation program. And this is on Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp's podcast called Weaponized, Part 75. It's part 2 of 3 episodes, and Matthew Brown is the whistleblower who talks about, who just reveals it all. And it's amazing, his story. So part 2 is out, and here I can give you the URL that will get you directly to that, tinyurl.com/capital GVTV, then MCON, IMCON 2. So that's part 2, and you'll see the whole thing. And see in this episode, Matthew Brown, he realizes that the intelligence community is actively lying about the UAP. So he's been wanting to come out to be a whistleblower and basically saying, yes, he gave the information, but then there's no follow-up. And so he followed up and wrote a whole big report out and submitted it again. So he's been wanting to be part of these UAP hearings that are supposed to happen next week on May 12th. And I'm planning on live streaming them through my different social media channels, because this is going to really be important to watch and historic, really. So another big episode that came out this week that I found was the Cuomo Project. Cuomo Project, I say Mario, is that his name? Mario Cuomo? No. Chris Cuomo, sorry. Chris Cuomo, the reporter. So he interviewed Jake Barber and James Fowler, who are the co-founders of Skywatcher Technologies, which I've talked about in previous episodes. So they share their firsthand experiences about tracking these UAPs and about the lack of transparency for the government. And they worked for the government prior. They were in the government, then they had their own private entities that contracted with the government. Now they're doing their own thing about really calling and tracking and trying to communicate with these different UAPs. They've identified 9 different ones. And you can actually go to that episode, which was very interesting, tinyurl.com/capital GVTV Cuomo. And I will put all of these in the description on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on Facebook, go to the YouTube channel, sign up there, because I always have the descriptions there. Give me a day or 2 to put them in there, but they'll be there. All right, so let's move to Citizens for Disclosure. And let me give you a little bit of information on what's going on with that. All of the different states we're organizing. I'm one of the state coordinators of 3 for the state of Florida, because I'm not there physically. And, we just like to have a lot of people involved. So we've got 3 state coordinators for the state of Florida. And the way, if you want to volunteer, go to newparadigminstitute.org. there is a button there that will where you can volunteer, and then you'll also get on the email list and start getting an insider's view on all of this information. It's been very interesting, and as part of the Citizens for Disclosure for Florida, I created a Facebook page for that. So if you live in Florida specifically, check out the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/FLCFD, and that stands for Florida Citizens for Disclosure. So I try to make it an easy way for you to do it, or message me on Facebook, and I'll get you on there. Also, we have a group that's also tied to that page, and that is facebook.com/groups/Citizens for Disclosure FL, and that's all in lowercase. So you can check that out as well, and join us and get involved in the conversation with Florida. The purpose of Citizens for Disclosure is to educate the public about what's going on with transparency and UAPs. This is a grassroots effort, and this is where the action that we're taking is actually contacting our Congress people and putting pressure from the grassroots up. Danny Sheehan with the New Paradigm Institute is meeting with all of these legislators and stuff. He's working from the top down, the grassroots, the people, we the people, we're working from the bottom up. And it's important that we put the pressure on our representatives to do what we want them to do, because they work for us. This is America, folks. All right. So I wanted to share that with you. And I even have a couple of episodes on UFOs. If you want to check those out, just go to good-vibes.tv, look under the episodes, and the last 2 episodes of my interview with Craig Richards, who's a former state coordinator for North Carolina. I interviewed him, and you get a lot of the background of what's been going, kind of get you up to speed from 2017 to now, what's been going on with the legislation and things like that. So it's definitely worth checking out. All right, my friends. So it is time now to talk about the Oracle of the Month. So the Oracle of the Month that we've got that I've been working with, this is our second week, is called Fated, a Pocket Love Oracle by Athene Noctua. Not sure that I'm saying her name right, but let me get you the screen here so you can see. This is a deck. It's a very small deck, only 13 cards. So I would say the way to use these cards is like if you're using another deck or tarot deck or oracle deck that has more, and you're doing a reading or a spread, and you just want kind of like one card to kind of represent it all. These cards have to do with relationships. And so last week's was very interesting what we got, because I was specifically asking about the relationship between us and the ETs. But I will let you watch that episode if you want to know what came up, which was very interesting. So I'm going to just ask generally for us a message from Spirit regarding our relationships. Let's say for our closest relationships, what is it that we need to know right now? And the card that I am getting is boundaries. So consider this, regarding any relationship that came to mind when I was mentioning this. So let me read. And it's just a little booklet with the meanings of the cards, since there are only 13 cards. But let me read this to you. Boundaries. Healthy boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. Honoring and respecting another's personal boundaries are as important as having your own boundaries honored and respected. Be sure those boundaries are firmly in place. Okay. So, yeah, boundaries are important. I didn't really have I guess it was my closest relationship is my husband, so I wasn't really thinking of him in this particular question. But yeah, boundaries are important, and like she said, even respecting other people's boundaries and knowing where those boundaries are, it's important, to maintain peace. So I'm not super crazy about these cards, but if you are, and if you like them, you can actually get them at my Amazon store. And the way you get to that is just go to good-vibes.tv and you will get that. So let us move on to the next segment that I've got for you. I like to share educational things, free educational programs coming up, or good deals in those. And I've got three to share with you this week. So, oopsie, don't want that one. We want this one. Longevity with Light. So tonight at 8 o'clock, I am co-hosting um, a Longevity with Light webinar. And I will give you the link so that you can actually join us. And this is all about wearable light technology called the LifeWave patches that I have been using now for over 5 months. The main one is X39, which stimulates and activates your own stem cells. So it helps you to anti age, to reverse age. Well, there are also some other patches that work other areas of the body. And this month, we're going to be talking about one called Alavida. And so Alavida is a groundbreaking patch that is light activated wellness technology that supports skin rejuvenation, hormone balance, and just vibrant living. So each of these different patches affect different things in our body. And we have a special guest, Dr. Debbie Beavers, who is a naturopath, and she's going to be talking about the Alavida patch tonight. And the way you can access this is tinyurl.com/longevity May 2025 with the L and the M capitalized. So go to that website and you can register, and then you'll get notification of the webinar. Come to the webinar. And if you can't make the webinar, it'll also send you, just register anyway. It'll send you the replay that you can watch at a later time. But I'm really looking forward to that because the Alavida patch, I've been wearing it at night. It also increases collagen in the body. And that's something that breaks down when you get older. So, and just to let you know, I'm 61, so I am working on reverse aging. All right, my friends. So, let's now talk about the other exciting class that's coming up next week on May 13th. So, on Tuesday through the 15th. This is a Green Thumb Essentials class, and I've talked so much in the past about how important it is to eat healthy plant whole plants as food, and how healthy and important that is to raise our vibration. You have those high vibe energy with live food. Well, growing your food, you may not be able to do all of your produce from your garden, but start with some of the things that you really like to use. And if you're not super great at gardening, you want to check out this Green Thumb Essentials 3-day immersive garden experience with Stacy Murphy. She's Grow Your Own Vegetables organization, and I'm partners with them. And just go to tinyurl.com/capital GVTV Green Thumb, and you can register for this. It's free the first days, but there's programs that you can get if you want to get more in depth into it. But I just thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of jumpstart you into getting your garden going or learning something new, because there's always something new to be learning in the garden. And just being in the garden is just so great because we're in nature and touching the dirt. And I've just read something that just getting getting dirt on our hands and absorbing it through our skin is so important, because those microbes and that energy, just like our body needs it. So because we're part of nature, we're part of nature. So she supports us. And, Mother's Day, Mother Earth, she's our mother. So let's treat her with the respect. And, we talked about boundaries. Well, we've been overstepping our boundaries by how we've treated her. So hopefully we can get our alien technology, our ET technology going and clean up the planet. That's my vision. All right. So the other last thing I'm going to share with you that's coming up on May 20th through the 22nd. It's a 3-day media mastery intensive that publicity expert Jill Lublin is doing. And here is the website or the URL that you can register to go to it. It's only $97. And I've taken this, and it's a very good 3-day intensive where you really get some PR strategies down, get your wording right, your pitch, and this kind of thing. I want to share with you let's let's see, here we go. Share. I want to share. There we go. This website and just read a little bit to you. So, have you felt like you're the best kept secret in your industry? Have you felt like your business will run a lot smoother and grow several times faster if only more people knew your business existed? Well, have you ever felt like you're on a hamster wheel, helping people solve their problems, getting them great results day in, day out, without getting enough recognition, leads, and referrals from all of your hard work? If you've answered yes to any one of these questions, this is the most important message you'll read today, because with your permission, Jill is going to hand you a simple PR system that you can deploy right away in your business. And there's a button there, claim your ticket, early bird promo of $97. And, publicity is such a great way to advertise our businesses, especially if you're on a budget. So go to tinyurl .com/ capital GVTV Media Mastery, and you can sign up for this class. So I am also partners with Jill Lublin, and I wanted to share that, yeah, to take this class because it's very good, and I definitely recommend her work. All right, my friends. So, next topic that we are going to talk about is going to be the tip to raise your vibration. So, every week I have a tip. Last week's tip of the week was to light your inner fire, because last week was Beltane, May 1st, which was one of the Celtic fire festivals. And when we tune into what lights our fire, what's our passion, what lights us up, then it helps kind of open up a whole nother world for us, in really living in our dharma, in what we're meant to do, in our purpose. So last week's tip, light your inner fire. Did you do it? Did you do some of the things that I suggested? If so, let me know in the comments. And this week's tip of the week is to sing a song or a tune internally. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a scenario as to how this one worked for me. So, sometimes you're around somebody and they're just like annoying you, and you know that you're just going to start getting more and more pissed off and annoyed. So, the tip to do is sing a song inside your head internally, a song or a tune. It could be a song or it could be just singing a tune, any kind of tune. Just start singing that in your head. And by doing that, you will actually raise your vibration. It's very interesting how how that works, and one of the reasons it works is because you're changing the focus of your intention onto the song in your head. And it would be great to have a song already in your head, like the song Happy by Pharrell, or any other happy song that you like to sing. That, or in my case, I was getting annoyed and I just started singing a tune, just like, okay, I'm not going to get upset, I'm not going to be annoyed, I'm going to raise my vibration because I'm getting ready for the show, right? So, and amazingly, it worked. Raising our vibrations, songs, things like that, uh, they just raise our vibration because it puts us in a higher vibe. This is how it works. So, my little tip for you to raise your vibration, especially when you're in a stressful situation or a situation where someone's really annoying you, start singing in your head. They won't even know about it. One of the things I read says that, you're creating a positive energy field around you with that song right in your head, and that actually protects you. So really interesting. So that's my tip for the week. All right, my friends, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of the Good Vibes Lifestyle. Remember, you have the power to shift your energy at any moment, whether it's through an internal song or just choosing peace. You control your vibration. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, share it with someone who needs a boost of good vibes. And then until next time, my friends, I will see you. Keep raising your vibe and thriving. Peace out, everyone. Oh, I see hold on. I have a comment and I got to share. Anne Fogarty, France. Hello, Anne. She sings, I Sing Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. Beautiful. I love it. All right. And thank you so much for watching and sharing. I really do appreciate it. And we will see you next week. Happy Mother's Day, everyone, and happy full moon. Take care.